When did you first become aware that you might be a suspect in this case?
I mean, as the ex-wife, I assumed I was a suspect from the beginning.
Read the next bill.
By Representative Toledo and others, House Bill 1119, a bill to be entitled An Act Relating to Grandparent Visitation Rights.
Representative Toledo, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This bill was inspired in part by the murder for hire of FSU law professor Dan Markel. Right here in Tallahassee in 2014, Mr. Markel was killed at his home after dropping his 2 toddler sons at daycare. A hired hitman, now convicted, approached Mr. Markel in his driveway and shot him twice in the head. Dan and his former wife had been in the middle of a contentious divorce and a custody case. But Dan's parents, Ruth and Phil, had maintained a very close relationship with him and their grandsons. Once the ex-wife's family was named by law enforcement as those responsible for arranging Dan's murder, all contact between his parents and his sons were cut off. To date, the ex-wife, her brother, and mother have all been named by prosecutors as co-conspirators in this case. Mr. Markel's death left behind 2 little boys who are currently raised and supervised by the very people the FBI and state prosecutors say organized and paid for his contract killing. While the case continues to be investigated and decided in the courts, Dan's parents remain alienated from his boys. If a criminal or civil court were to find Markel's ex-wife intentionally responsible for his murder, this bill would simply allow his parents to petition the courts to determine whether or not they are allowed visitation. We need to create a pathway for children and grandparents to be reconnected when circumstances separating them are due to criminal or bad actions on the part of a surviving parent. We are not looking at ways to dismantle the right of parents, but to correct a problem in law when one parent retains custody, even when implicated in the death of their co-parent. And I ask for your favorable support.
Are you familiar with their work across the street at the legislature trying to get bills passed to give grandparents rights to see kids?
I'm familiar with their grandparents' legislation, but it's actually unconstitutional.
Members of the jury are being instructed to disregard the comment of the witness as to the constitutionality of any portion of the Florida statutes.
Have a good day, ma'am. Please call your next witness.
Members, Representative Toledo having closed in her bill, the question now recurs on final passage of House Bill 1119. The clerk will unlock the machine and proceed to vote. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? Clerk will lock the machine and announce the vote.
112 yeas, 3 nays, Mr. Speaker.
Show the bill passes. Read the next bill.
What was wrong with Dan's mother trying to make arrangements for the kids in the event of your arrest? Wasn't that a kind thing to do?
I don't think it's kind to put my children in foster care.
Wasn't the foster care intended only to cover the time frame that it would take for her to get on a plane and get here?
She never said that.
You thought she was just going to leave them in foster care?
I didn't know what to think. They have a mother. They don't need to be in foster care.
But they wouldn't have a mother in the event of your arrest, Ms. Adelson. Wasn't that the intention of the email?
I don't know what the intent of the email was. I was not going to be arrested for a crime I didn't commit.
She didn't know that, though, did she?
I don't know what she knows or doesn't know. I can't speak to that.
Do Dan's parents know whether you committed this crime or not?
I don't know how to answer that question.
How would they? Particularly back at the time that she sent that email. It was fresh at that time, right?
I'm sorry, what was fresh?
All the events that were occurring, the arrests.
That was 2 years after Danny's murder. I don't know what she knew or didn't know. I know that my children don't belong in foster care.
Was it a specific foster care that she was requesting be called in the event that the children had no place to go and were going to be going into the custody of the state?
She did suggest a specific foster care agency,
A Jewish-run foster care agency.
a Jewish foster care.
How many times have the kids visited Dan's parents since this murder?
Many. It'd be hard to count.
Countless times?
Countless times.
How many times have they seen him in the last year?
We had a visit with Danny's dad and the boy's cousin this summer. We've had a lot of Skype visits. They do live in Canada, so it makes it a little bit harder to have in-person visitation. But every time they've asked for it, we've arranged it.
Every time they've asked for a visit, you've arranged it.
Yes, ma'am.
How many times have they seen him in the last 5 years?
Again, we
Countless?
as in the last 5 years, that overlaps with the time when they tried to put them in foster care. So since we've reestablished relations, we've seen them about twice a year whenever they come down to Florida.
Wendi Adelson advises that the Markels, meaning Dan's parents, have had unfettered access to their grandchildren. Is that true?
Not to my knowledge, no.
How many visits have they had with their grandchildren, say, between May of 16 and April of 2022?
I don't believe they've had any visits during that time period.
All right, and what about since then?
Maybe less than a handful. I can't remember exactly how many. But
Does
just a
3
few.
sound correct?
That sounds all right.
Okay, what about Wendi and the boys?
My parents live about 35 minutes from my sister, and I used to live about 45 minutes from them.
And are they okay, as far as you know, physically, today, as we sit here?
Yes.
And are you concerned that because you've told now on the Latin Kings that they're going to come kill your whole family?
I mean, I just told you that I knew that, was told then that Luis Rivera, the head of the Latin Kings, killed Dan Markel. So, I mean, I do have some concern when I get out.
So in the last 5 years, they've seen him how many times? 2 or 3 times a year?
About that.
Has this been a major issue between you and Dan Markel's parents? This issue of them having access to the kids?
The issue of them trying to put them in foster care is a major issue.
No, ma'am, that's
yes.
not my question.
I'm sorry.
Hasn't the issue of them trying to get access to your kids been a major issue, at least for them?
Since they tried to put the children in foster care, yes. Before that, it was not a problem.
Are you familiar with their work across the street at the legislature trying to get bills passed to give grandparents rights to see kids?
I'm familiar with their grandparents' legislation, but it's actually unconstitutional.
Well, my understanding is your continued fear was due to other Latin kings, potentially. Is that accurate?
These are highly connected people. Luis Rivera, the head of the Latin Kings, in custody means absolutely nothing. If you think he can't send somebody from the outside, you're wrong.
Are you angry that according to your brother's theory, he and your mom have known who killed your children's father since 2014, and you weren't told who it was?
I'm more angry that somebody killed my children's father.
So you're not mad about that they knew this whole time? That's what they're saying.
I'm sorry, can you repeat the
That's
question?
the theory of the defense in this case, is that he's known the whole time. Your brother's known what happened to Dan. Does that make you angry?
I'm angry about so many things, it's hard to
Is that one of them?
separate them.
Well, try.
I'm confused. It's hard to process.
And apparently, according to his lawyer, these killers had threatened to kill your brother's family members as well. Did you hear that?
I did hear that.
And that would be you, right?
It would.
Were you told that a specific threat had been made by the same people that had killed your ex-husband to kill your brother's family members?
I was not told.
Would that have been information you would have liked to know back in 2014?
Yes.
Would you have made the same decision to move down to South Florida, closer to the killers?
No, I would not.
And even after the killers were arrested in 2016, you weren't told that that's what was going on the whole time.
I found out yesterday.
No further questions. So my question to you is, did that happen? Because you told yesterday.
Was I killed yesterday when I was in jail? No.
And nobody in your family has been killed so far.
You're talking about in the last 24 hours?
Right.
Not that I know.
Okay. But you're worried about that.
I think now that I've spoken, I do have a concern, yes.
Okay. But not too concerned to remain silent when it's your own butt on the line, right?
I'm here to tell the truth. And yes, do I have a concern now that I told you what happened? Absolutely.
Did you ever hear your brother refer to that particular dinner as a celebratory dinner?
No,
Did you tell Jeffrey Lacoste that your brother called that a celebratory dinner?
I did not.
Was that a...
One moment, Ms. Callen.
Yes, sir.
The objection.
Hearsay.
Overruled.
Was that dinner a celebration of the murder of your ex-husband?
Absolutely not. That dinner was the first time I left my house after over a month because I was terrified. And if it was a celebration of anything, it was a celebration that I was willing to leave the house and eat a meal.
When did you decide to change the names of your children from Markel to Adelson?
So after Danny's murder, there was a lot of news. It just hit the media, and there were news stories everywhere. And Nancy Grace on CNN put pictures of my boys with their faces unblurred, just pictures of them. Mm. And I was terrified. And so when they started school, I started school with my last name, thinking that would keep them safe, that they wouldn't be associated with the murder.
Do you agree that you legally changed the kids' names on July 6th of 2015?
That sounds right.
So it was actually a year after the homicide.
A year after.
Were you involved in any way in the plot to kill your ex-husband?
Absolutely not.
Did you know it was going to happen, but maybe not know the details?
I knew nothing.
Is that why you went to the crime scene on the day of the homicide?
I did not go to the crime scene on the day of the homicide.
Do you recognize this vehicle?
It appears to be a vehicle that I saw approaching the scene that day.
And this vehicle, are you familiar particularly with the make and model of this particular vehicle?
Yes, my wife drove we still have it. My daughter drives it now, 2006 Honda Odyssey.
So at the time you had in your family this same type of vehicle?
Yes.
And did you know at the time that Wendi Adelson drove this type of vehicle?
Yes.
All right, so you noticed this vehicle or a vehicle identical to this one approach your position?
Yes, ma'am.
And what did the vehicle do when it approached your position?
Just stopped pretty quick and turned around and headed back in the other direction.
Did the driver stop and inquire of you what the activity was at the Markel residence?
No.
Do you know who all was involved in the murder?
Well, I learned today, but at the time, no.
Okay. Have you ever privately confronted your brother about his role or possible role in the murder?
My attorney has advised me not to have conversations with anyone in my family about the case.
Commence substitute for Senate Bill 1408, a bill to be entitled Act relating to grandparent visitation rights.
Senator Perry, you're recognized on your bill.
Thank you, Mr. President. Currently, grandparents can only petition the courts for visitation in extremely limited circumstances. This bill creates a point of access for granting reasonable visitation with the petitioner petitioning grandparents or step-grandparents if the court finds that one parent has been held criminally or civilly liable for the death of the other parent. That is the bill.
Are there amendments?
None on the desk, Mr. President.
Are there questions on the bill? Senator, there is a companion bill here. Would you like to substitute?
Yes, I would.
Senator Perry moves House Bill 1119 be substituted for CS for Senate Bill 1408. Without objection, show that motion adopted. Read the House bill.
House Bill 1119, a bill to be entitled Act relating to grandparent visitation rights.
Are there amendments?
None on the desk, Mr. President.
Are there questions on the bill? By agreement of the Democrat and Republican leaders, Senator Perry moves the bill be read a third time. Without objection, show that motion adopted. Read the bill.
House Bill 1119, a bill to be entitled Act relating to grandparent visitation rights.
Is there debate on the bill? Leader Book, you're recognized in debate.
Thanks so much, Mr. President. I just want to thank Senator Perry for his hard work on this. This is something that the Children and Families Committee has been working on for quite some time, and I think it's going to be a wonderful thing for families across the state of Florida. I want to thank you for championing this piece of legislation.
Is there any additional debate on the bill? Senator Baxley, you're recognized in debate.
Granddad thinks this is the best deal all session that we've done. 50 years of funeral service, I've worked with a lot of families where there's been heartbreak and difficult situations. At the end of the day, many of us got more development from our grandmother and our grandfather than we did any other person in terms of our character development. And I just think this has been a tough find because you don't want to create a whole different category of rights, but this is a relationship that's much needed, much valued, and you have preserved it. Thank you, sir.
Senator Rouson, you're recognized.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. And Senator Perry, I want to thank you for allowing me to be a co-introducer of this bill. This battle began in 2015 when I passed the bill in the House. This goes a little bit further than what we passed before, and it's a good bill. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any additional debate? Senator Perry, you're recognized to close on your bill.
Thank you. I just want to thank my colleagues, and they did a great job closing. It's a first step in this, or a continued step from Senator Rouson, but still got more work to do, but this is a great step in the right direction. I ask for your support.
The Secretary will unlock the board, and senators will proceed to vote. Lock the board and record the vote.
37 yeas, 0 nays, Mr. President.
Show the bill passes. Read the next bill.
Did you ever hear your brother refer to that particular dinner as a celebratory dinner?
No.
Did you tell Jeffrey Lacoste that your brother called that a celebratory dinner?
I did not.
Was that a...
One moment, Ms. Kellogg.
Yes, sir.
The objection. Hearsay. Overruled.
Was that dinner a celebration of the murder of your ex-husband?
Absolutely not. That dinner was the first time I left my house after over a month because I was terrified. And if it was a celebration of anything, it was a celebration that I was willing to leave the house and eat a meal.
Your brother's attorney on cross as a co-conspirator. Are you charged in this case?
No.
This isn't your trial, is it?
No.
Is your brother charged with conspiring with you to do a murder?
No.
Is he charged with conspiring with you to plan a murder?
No.
Is he charged with soliciting you to do a murder?
No.
Who is he charged with doing those things with?
I don't think anyone.
Have you had an opportunity the relocation as far as bribing, you remember that? Converting the Christian children to Christianity, remember that suggestion?
I sure do.
Okay. What did she put in there